cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
So here's what happens when you don't go to work, when you don't take the bus or BART to work. You get so tired.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Sitting around the house all day, you get so tired. And I've been doing work because I'm doing the remote thing, and I don't want to do the emote thing where I'm crying on the podcast because I want to go outside. You should go outside and walk around your neighborhood. But if you see somebody, scram, run, don't get anywhere near them because it's a
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's a threat to your health. So I have been, what have I been doing? I've been
Mike's
doing work.
Daily
It's interesting too.
Podcast.
I'm finding that I'm getting to work too early. Doing this whole thing, things don't start really ramping up till 10 a.m. And I was getting to work at like 7:30. What? Why? What was the point of that? So I think in the future, I'm going to maybe leave a little bit later. I think that's a good idea. You know, because the stuff that really starts to happen doesn't happen till later in the day. In California, anyway. The last big email of the day came through just a few minutes ago at about 5:40. So that was from the owner of the company saying, I hope you're getting out and walking around the house, all you people that are working from home. So I got to do that. Maybe with Basil the Boxer. No, he just told me no, don't do that. Don't take me. I've walked enough with you, Mike. And I have found that, like yesterday after I did the podcast, I was gonna just sleep. I just felt like sleeping. So I don't know if this is the thing with working from home. Do you sleep more? Is it too much rest? If you get too much rest, then you don't have enough stress. It's the opposite of having stress in your life. Or maybe it's not even resting because you're filled with anxiety about working from home. I don't know. It's just a mess.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture today, though, is of some time. This was like a month ago. We were up in Mount Shasta area, in the area that, well, you can't go any further up the mountain. So you park and you walk around and there's all this snow. And you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. I also found today some recipes. I'm just going to burn right through. This is going to be a short podcast today because there's really, I need to get outside. And you do too. Go outside. Walk around the backyard. And Basil's, he doesn't miss the backyard at all. Basil had this ability to dig holes. You know, dogs just love digging holes. And my mom, her philosophy, when we had a dog when I was a kid, was use the big hole that they just dug and put a tree in it. Put a nice tree. You need trees in your backyard. I have so many trees in my backyard, and that's so I don't see my annoying neighbors behind me. The neighbors on my sides are wonderful, but the one behind me, I don't know what's going on. It's been a nonstop question mark. So in this moment of quarantines and social distancing, you should try distracti-baking. Distracti-baking has overtaken its more prominent cousin, procrasti-baking. So people living under the current stay-at-home order might find themselves with more time at home and a good reason to avoid the grocery store if possible. And this, by the way, I pulled this article from an Atlanta website. Oh, we just had another earthquake. That's called an earthquake, everybody. At Cafe Anyway. AJC, which is the Atlanta Journal Coronavirus. AJC. That's what it stands for, right? So you could try baking while you're at home. Makes the house smell nice. Bread, for example, a household essential that tends to disappear from grocery store shelves when people overbuy in the name of disaster preparedness. Bread is one of the most rewarding baking projects you can undertake. Under quarantine, the phenomenon of distracted baking has quickly taken hold. Social media has been filled with photos of cookies, muffins, and the miraculous no-knead bread. You do not need to bread it. Wait, you do not need to knead it, is what I'm saying. Knead. K-N-E-A-D. That has long been one of the most popular recipes ever published by the New York Times. The AGC readers who want to get on the action, they've dug up an article from 2016 that has several recipes for everyday breads that you can check out at their website, ajc.com. There's also the hearty country bread that I'm making myself hungry. And they got a recipe for that as well. Cakes. In stressful times, cake is a friend because we're not fat enough as a nation. We need more to eat more things. Lean into cake cravings and make something delicious that will raise the spirits of your entire household. There's a couple of recipes they also include there. And one is called an Appalachian apple stack. Whoa. And Rich's Bake Shop coconut cake. Is this podcast making you hungry? And I'm apologizing to you now because these are not the healthiest recipes. But what is this one? Treats from local bakers. For more baking-related projects, check out recipes from popular Atlanta baker Sarah Dodge. She shared a few of the recipes in 2017, she left the restaurant industry to start her own rogue baking operation called Bread is Good. She specializes in long fermented sourdough breads, but sells an ever-changing mixture of loaves and pastries, as well as a monthly bread subscription. Another independent baker named Jessie Kirkpatrick sells her breads and other baked goods through Instagram under the name After Flowers. After Flowers. Customers can arrange to purchase her creations through Instagram. See? That's called using social media to make money. And that's a perfect way, too, because Instagram's all about pictures, and they're showing these amazing pictures of bread. Probably makes people hungry. So, Kirkpatrick shared a personal favorite cookie recipe featuring the calming flavors of Earl Grey tea. The recipe earned her third place in a staff cookie competition during her tenure at Aquavit, the acclaimed Nordic restaurant in New York City. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. We are in Cafe Anyways outside patio. Everyone's standing at least 6 feet apart. Maybe even further apart. And what is this that Mr. Johnny Depp is allowed to proceed against Amber Heard, a defamation suit. And Kourtney Kardashian has quit Keeping Up with the Kardashians, apparently. It says here. Okay. Well, as we're outside a cafe anyway, and I'm going to, stay outside, probably walk around and enjoy it. I think we should all realize that we're people that need to be social. And so the social distancing thing, maybe not the best idea. Except for it keeps you from getting sick, supposedly. Oh, Mr. Fauci, the doctor, Fauci, is it Fauci? Fauci? He's very fetching. Another earthquake outside a cafe anyway. Good gosh. It's just not, if there's one thing to worry about, there's another. Tony Fauci, he was on the show with Trevor Noah and talked to him and said that, okay, here's the thing. You can't get the coronavirus if you order, and this is stuff we talked about on the last show, if you order something from China, the chances of that, it's like it can't live that long. It dies after a couple of hours, the virus, if it's sitting on something. But let's say you're going through a door and somebody coughed in their hand that has the coronavirus and then went to turn the knob on the door, and you come through about an hour, less than 2 hours later, you're going to probably catch it. If you open the door with your hand and then go up to your face and lick your hand, or put your hand in your eye, or some crazy thing. So he was just clearing the air about a lot of stuff. Watch this Trevor Noah interview. You will be very enlightened Look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Oh my gosh. I don't like standing this close to you, Mike Matthews.
You're like 20 feet away. What are you talking about?
Mike Matthews, I don't want to catch what you have.
I don't have anything that I know of. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. Yes, we should all be in hazmat suits. Yes, maybe that's what we should do. But you know what? We've done this podcast now for over a week, uninterrupted. So it has really, really been a daily podcast. And you can tell me what you think about all this at 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast will continue to try to be. Try to give you information, try to calm you down. I had an email from someone at work, and not only is there all this coronavirus scare going on, it's also the end of the quarter. And certain businesses are trying to make ends meet. A lot of them aren't. Restaurants, for example. Other places where there's just no business at all. But the business I work in radio, they are trying like desperately to make sure that we get through the end of the quarter and don't have any major hiccups. And I was like, be calm. It's all right. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Do it. And so it's people. But you know what? I've heard a couple of stories about radio stations letting a bunch of people go right now. It's that time of year where things like this happen. And I remember in 2008, when the economic downturn happened, I somehow survived most of the year. But by the very end of the year, my company let me go and a bunch of other people in radio. And I had moved all the way to Alabama. And I was like, okay, thanks. Now I'm stuck here in Alabama, which I liked. I've been dreaming a lot about Alabama these days. Just the greenery, and there's nice people, and it's a not cheaper, but a less expensive way of life. The word cheap, not so good there. But okay, go outside, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend, get some fresh air. Don't walk behind someone who just sneezed or coughed. Because when they sneeze and they got the coronavirus, that's when you can probably catch it. That's the big thing to watch out for. And we're all going to be fine. Remain calm. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Thank you for listening to episode 2005.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.